You're listening to Mouthbuzz, where the noise never shuts up, and neither do we. Thanks for joining us on Mouthbuzz. We're here today recording at Sandgate Lagoons. What do you know about Sandgate Lagoons?
I know lots. You should start off telling us a bit about the research that you did about Sandgate Lagoons.
I did research.
I think so.
Oh, I wonder where I put that.
We're at Dowse Lagoon, Dowse.
Well, you know there's 3 lagoons at Sandgate.
I know there's Einbumkin.
Well, actually, in the old days, when they were much simpler in their outlook of life, they were called the lagoons Lagoon 1, Lagoon 2, and can you guess what the other one was?
Lagoon 5.
Exactly. No. It's Lagoon 3. So we're at Lagoon 2. Dowse Lagoon.
Dowse, Mr. Dowse.
Right. So in 1955, second Sandgate Lagoon. That was its official title.
Okay. I'm convinced.
Second Sandgate Lagoon. It's renamed to Dowse Lagoon.
Right.
So who is Dowse? What's a Dowse?
Well, you tell me.
He was a district pioneer, a local entrepreneur, Thomas Dowse. He was Brisbane's first town clerk from 1862 to 1869 and avidly promoted Sandgate as a holiday and business settlement.
Right.
So now we have Dowse Lagoon. And you know, the first lagoon, which would have been, I'm assuming it's first Sandgate Lagoon, is now called Einbumkin. What name is that?
It's a mythical creature.
A mythical creature.
Mm-hmm. There's the Einbumkin festival around the lagoon.
Well, I'm going to dispel the myth.
Okay.
With good, solid facts.
Okay.
Gets its name from an edible root known to the Turbot and Gabby people, indigenous peoples. The name is the Aboriginal word for this plant.
Oh, there you go.
So you could do some foraging.
They used to come and forage.
No, you.
On me. No, I'd have to spend some time with some elders and actually learn what I could eat and not eat. Because I only recognise spinach and rosemary and lavender. I don't think any of that grows around the lagoon.
Ah. And Sandgate Lagoon 3, whatever it was called, is a bit further out. I think it's out near Bracken Ridge somewhere, and maybe in the wetlands.
I have to go and find it. Well, all of this was part of wetlands.
And it's known as Bung Lagoon.
Mm.
And so there you have the 3 lagoons. But we're at Sandgate Lagoon 2.
Yes.
Dowse Lagoon.
I wanted to tell you something really interesting about this lagoon. In 1972, there was a convention founded in Iran, in the city of Ramsar. And a whole lot of governments got together and formed the treaty. Mm-hmm. And in 1993, this lagoon here became part of that treaty. It became part of the list. It was listed. So this is a whole worldwide intergovernmental treaty around the whole world. It's got I haven't got the numbers, huge amounts of wetlands on the list.
Wow.
And what they do is, through the treaty, is they're all about the conservation and sustainable and wise use of the wetlands.
Nice.
And this lagoon is really, really important because of its biodiversity. It supports over 200 migratory birds that come from all over the world.
Oh, my goodness.
So remember the dog beach that we often go to? Well, the dog beach is a bit under contention because the people love the dog beach, but the conservationists don't want dogs on there because that foreshore is also a part of the wetlands, which is where the migratory birds come and land. And that chunk of dog shore, though it seems quite small to us, it's really important to the birds because they're getting interfered with where they land.
Of course, the dogs would run around and bark and have fun and chase the birds away.
Chase the birds away,
Dogs.
who've just come from Russia, right, and are totally exhausted. Easy pickings, I'd say.
Jet-lagged.
Jet-lagged, that's right. And I'm gonna tell you some of the lists of animals in this lagoon. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, give me a few.
So we've got the Brisbane short-necked turtle, the long-finned eel, the dusky moorhen, some ducks, swamp hens, pelicans, great egrets, darters, swans, and magpie geese.
What sort of swans?
Both white and black.
Wow.
Yeah. And because it was quite shallow,
Yeah.
they also dug a deeper part in the lagoon so that there's some fish that can swim a bit deeper and keep a bit cooler, because otherwise the water get too hot. They've even found Australian lungfish in there.
It's amazing,
So
isn't it?
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And actually, as we walked around the lagoon and see from some of the footage we've got, it's been left unhumanized in a sense. It doesn't have concrete walls and, rotundas and mowed grass areas. It's very much reeds and water and big trees. And I have noticed this many times. There's a lot of people that come up and say, we have to save the whales, we have to save this area, we have to save this or save that. I would say most of the time, we just need to get out of there.
Yes.
I don't think the planet needs saving. It just needs us to leave it alone.
That's right.
And often,
and not to take over every little nook and cranny in every part and mow everything and have it exactly the way we want it.
And build footpaths and docks and things so people can come and look at this.
Yeah.
And in that building and in that looking and all of that traffic, destroy it.
Comes in destruction.
Yeah. We've just got to leave things alone and let the earth heal these areas, and it'll be just fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And there's a lot of planting happening of native species, which is great. There's a volunteer group who look after that, which is very, very cool.
So I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are both your feet the same size?
No.
How do you know?
Because when I buy shoes, one's always tighter than the other.
So why is it then that pairs of shoes are made the same size?
Interesting. I've often thought about that too, because when I used to wear bikini, I'd always have to get two different sizes, top and bottom, and there was only one place who would actually make them for me. So same question.
Same question. Well, look,
yeah,
women's boobs are different sizes, which is quite nice. I quite like that. If you take somebody's face and take a picture of it and cut it in half and flip it, they're not the same.
Not symmetrical, yeah.
Hands are different sizes. I can tell you that testicles are different sizes. No need to investigate that one, unless you really want to. Somebody should do a study on that. I'm sure they already have.
Probably.
So why are shoes made as if feet are all the same size? Now, I noticed this morning when I put my shoes on and laced them up. Yes, I still use laces. Thank you very much. One lace has longer sticky out bits than when I'm tying the bow than the other size does.
Isn't that just how you thread the laces through?
One of my feet is bigger. It pushes up against the top of the shoe differently. Okay. And it doesn't need lacing up as much.
Right.
So I just thought that was an interesting...
You got a fat foot.
I've got a fat foot. My left foot is bigger than my right foot.
Could you imagine if you walked into a store? I can just imagine. It's a dream. I walk into a store and there's a shoemaker who measures my shoes and makes shoes exactly to fit my feet.
Well, I think that used to be the thing.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome. And there are places...
Rather than fitting your feet into these shapes, and then you get foot problems, and then you have to have surgery later, all because of shoes.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I bought a pair of shoes, not affiliated here, called Bare Feet. I love them. It's like wearing no shoes, but there's a protection there. They're so light, and they're so roomy, and they're great.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad we got that sorted. So take notice, shoe manufacturers.
Yes.
Feet are not the same size.
Yes.
Hello.
And the toes don't go to a point.
They don't.
They don't.
Oh, but that's fashion. That's a whole other thing.
Okay.
That's a whole other thing.
I hate fashion.
That's a choice.
I hate fashion.
Now, I want to give a shout out. I'm sitting here, as we have many times in Sandgate, Sunday morning, with a cup of coffee.
Yes.
It's great coffee. And I want to
Yes.
give a shout out to Coffee Warden in Ward Street, Brighton, Queensland, Australia. These guys get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to open up their shop. They're always there to give us a cup of coffee as we go by on our early morning outing. And their coffee's great. I don't care that the barista doesn't say very much.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go for a conversation.
Don't go for a conversation.
Go for your coffee order.
It's just great. So check it out if you're in the area.
Unless you turn up every day, then he might chat.
Well, maybe. But we turn up once a week. I think that's pretty regular.
Yeah. Awesome coffee.
Awesome coffee.
I have something to talk about.
What do you got?
I am totally stupid.
Stupid?
Buying tickets.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
I put myself through a ringer. This is what I want to do, right? And I'm doing it, but it's taken me a long time to get there. The QPAC, which is Queensland Performing Arts Centre, is putting on a play which is called The Dictionary of Lost Words, which is a book I read, which I absolutely love. I thought, great, I'm going to see the play. I haven't been to the theatre in years. Well, come along the world of digitalness.
Digitalness?
Digital ticketing. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm so stupid. I feel stupid. So I buy the ticket, right? But I buy it during a break at work. And then the other day I sit there and think, oh, my God, when am I going to the theatre? I thought I'd missed it because I haven't got any tickets, physical tickets, right, that you used to get in the mail. And I'm going, when is this? And I thought, oh, okay, I booked it via email. I better check my emails. Problem number one. Which email did I use to book this ticket?
Oh, because we don't get very many emails these days, do we?
No, that's right.
Not thousands.
Yeah,
of
but
them.
I have 3 email addresses.
Right.
And then I went through one of my private emails, not there. I went, okay, think. Oh, school email. So I went through the school email. I went, yay! I found it. But I don't do school email, work email on my phone. I only do private email. So then I forwarded the email from my school email to my private email.
Right.
And my brain can cope with that. Then I go, okay, now do I print a ticket? So I read the instruction in the email, say, click on this link and have this open for when you come to the performance. I'm going, okay. So I click on the link and up comes a code, a QR code. And I'm going, all right, now I have to have this open when I go to the theatre on that night. And I'm going, okay, now I have to memorize where I'm keeping the email, and then I have to be able to access it easily from my phone. And seriously, I'm just having a sabbatical attack over all of this.
Oh, too funny.
How am I going to fly overseas in a couple of months?
Well, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. The mighty QR code.
you're laughing at me. I'm having like a stress panic attack.
You know, stupidity is not curable.
Yeah. So what does that mean? I'm going to have a few more stress times every time I want to see a show?
There is no medical well, the diagnosis is there, but they haven't discovered a treatment for it yet.
What do I do with this? Well, I've got it now. And then you tell me you didn't have to close it down. I'm going, close down what? And you said, well, oh no, and I don't even understand what you're talking about.
I can't contribute to this conversation again.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave it at that then,
Well,
shall
look,
we?
you think that's kind of frustrating. I shared a house with my mother at some point in my past for a couple of years, which is very nice. We got on very well. And I got us a nice new digital television. Not quite a smart TV in those days, but definitely digital. And it had a remote control. And you could record and you could do different things with it. It took my mum, it took me 6 months to train my mum how to use the TV, to do her recordings and find her channels and find her recordings and play things. And I learned a tremendous amount of allowance in that whole
Right.
process. And I've talked about my dad before, who just does not want to get a mobile phone, even though his bank, he was still using checks to pay bills. And his bank said, look,
and
sorry,
they've
bud,
been-
we're not
they've-
doing that anymore. You have to have a mobile phone. He's going, what? I've got to buy a mobile phone to pay my bills? And they said, pretty much.
Oh my God. Another frustration.
Another frustration.
Digital ID.
Oh,
Oh my God. I think I have one now. I have no idea. I think it must have worked.
let me just interject there
Yes.
and just say the word government.
Right.
Government ID.
Oh, okay.
Government.
Yes.
That puts a whole different spin on it.
That is so complicated. I had lunch with a friend yesterday, and she said, "I've got to get a digital ID, and it's going to take. I was being told it's going to take 8 hours." And I went, "What? 8 hours?" She said it takes forever, and I went, "Oh my God!" I said, "Don't talk to me about digital ID. I've just been through it, and it's like a nightmare."
I know. Look, I had to get one too. The thing that was so funny with this whole thing with government, right, was I had to get a digital ID to do something with the government in one of their departments.
To pay the money.
To pay the bond, right? And I thought I had one, but they changed their system, so that one got lost, and I had to create a new one. So I said to the person I was chatting with on the robot chat thing, the live chat, where can I go to create a digital ID? Just give me the link, give me the page, and I'll go there and do it. Oh no, you can't do that.
No.
You have to go to the department that you want to do the interaction with,
Yes.
then go through a bit of a process, and it's set up as if you already have the digital ID, and then there's this little small tiny thing where if you don't have a digital ID, you've got to click on create, and then it takes you through another process, none of it being intuitive.
No.
So you click something else, I can't remember what it was, to get to where you can actually begin creating one.
Then you need 2 forms of ID.
And then you need 2 forms of ID. So you've gone through all of this, find the actual create ID part. And then, so then you've got to go and find your driver's license, passport, whatever it is, come back and then complete all of that and do all of that. But it's not like there's this place where you go and create a government digital ID and then that's usable for the different departments. Oh no, it's hidden within the department process. And so I just say the word government, and I don't know why governments do this, but they do. I spent an hour trying to get a digital ID organized, and I know what I'm doing, I think, or I thought, but I didn't. Amazing.
Yes. It brings up a nightmare. Almost a panic thing inside.
Well, it's just so frustrating because I get this at work, right?
But again, I feel stupid.
There's no cure for stupidity. So maybe you're not stupid.
Okay.
But there's this whole thing, right? I get this at work, where I work in IT a lot, where the people that work in the system want it designed to facilitate their work. And they have little connection with or interest in the people that'll be using the thing that is being created. So this is called user interface. Well, these days it's UX, user experience. So they're interested in what they want and not interested in how somebody who coming onto the system to use it, like us, like a visitor, actually can use it.
Yeah.
And so there's always this tension, this push and tug between those 2 points of view.
Yeah. And then the other day, I'm going to a conference in Germany, so I'm trying to register for the course. Oh my gosh. First of all, the website is in another language. And everything that you're used to, like the continue on the bottom of the right-hand side of the screen, usually, there's a continue button. It's all different. It's all back to front. I could register and pay, but I couldn't choose the courses I wanted to do. And that was in the button that says, change your booking. What does change your booking have to do with choosing courses? So that was confusing. That was another 2 hours of frustration. Working with somebody else who called someone else until we finally figured it out.
Amazing.
This conference overseas has been going on for 2 months. And now I'm getting emails, the things I've booked, all the times have changed. And I'm going, you know what? I'm just going to turn up and see what happens. I'm just there. I have my booking number. I will take it printed. And I will say, here I am. Point me in the right direction, because I've come halfway around the world to this. I think you better give me some help now.
Give me some slack here.
Oh, yeah,
Cut
please.
me some slack.
This has been going on.
I think you should just turn up, and when you see a thing that you like, just go in.
I think so. And then they say the room's full, so I don't care. I'm staying.
It sounds like they will have no clue who's in or who's not in.
Well, hopefully. And
you just go in and say, I'm here.
I'll
Hello,
just go to whatever and experience whatever. Well, I want to eat some banana bread. What about AI and using AI to create things?
I've got a new project that I've been working on with AI. And I have a client who is somebody who does courses in caregiving, looking after elderly parents, etc. And she's a 2-book author and is looking to get more exposure on the internet and connect with people that are looking for the types of things that she's offering. And so what I did this week was really quite extraordinary for me, and well, actually for her, was amazing. I took her book. She gave me the text, the manuscript of her book, and I added it to an AI. And I told the AI to use this as a knowledge base for her style of writing, the way she writes, her writing voice, you might call it. And the book contained all of the information that her course was going to be about. Mm-hmm. And then I had done several interviews with her, which were recorded, videoed and recorded. And then I'd clip those interviews into 3-minute clips, each clip being on a particular topic that she spoke about. So I gave the AI a transcript of one of the clips. So it was like several paragraphs. I gave it some instructions and different training, different prompts and things. And then I asked it to write an article between 1,600 and 2,000 words about the topic of this particular clip of the interview. And within a very short period of time, like less than a minute, it had written that. And
That's crazy.
Yep. And I read through it, and it was astounding how much it was like her and the way she writes.
Right, copied her style.
Because it had taken, not only had it taken the style of writing from the way she wrote in her book, but it had taken information from her book.
Right.
And I just
and
comment.
Used her words.
Yeah, I just comment. It read the book in about 15 seconds.
Oh my God.
Okay. And so what I did was I packaged up that article and I emailed it to her and said, have a read of this and see what you think. Give me your feedback. And she came back and she said, that is amazing. She said, it is so good. And I said, how do you feel about an AI having written that? And she said, well, I would not know.
Yeah.
And I said, that's because it has used your content, your writing,
yes,
your style, but most importantly...
So her ideas in the first place.
Yes, it hasn't gone off onto the internet and looked around all sorts of caregiving things and articles, whatever. It's specifically worked from her book.
Yeah.
And from that interview, where I have probably, 20 or 30 clips now that we're going to release on social media and through different platforms, I can produce easily 30 or more articles.
Yeah.
So there's enough content there for her to publish an article weekly on her blog.
Yeah, right.
She's got like maybe 6 months to a year's content. All
then-
for this one thing.
But her work in the first place, like the first input was her stuff, which I find cool. Yeah.
So it's her book, her work, but also her interview.
Yes.
So it's all about her.
Yeah.
And so the source material that the AI is using is all about her.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone to the AI and said, write me an article
From
about
scratch.
caregiving.
Yeah.
In which case, who knows where
Who
it's going to
knows?
get.
Yeah.
And who knows how it's going to write it and the style, and it could be nothing like her.
Yeah.
But this particular method has been incredibly successful.
So therefore, whatever she's going to do with this and from this, it will all be her, and there won't be any, like if she runs a course, there won't be any disparity. People come to her and saying, oh, this isn't what, what I read.
It all connects up, right? Because
I love it.
The book, you read the article, you come to her course and listen to her talk.
Yeah.
It's all her.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've given all of this information that you have to somebody who's really good at writing, like a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
And so they then have actually done the writing and the formatting and putting all of the thoughts and ideas together.
And I mean, they copy particular styles as well.
But it's your work.
That's
And I think
great.
that's very different than, I think it's a different kind of way of using AI than going to it and saying, hey, write me a book on such and such. Where you have no connection with it.
No.
And you haven't done
anything.
anything
And I think
to start with.
people know that.
Yeah.
The end consumer will know that.
Yeah.
If you've just made up something or done totally by AI, because people will know that there's no connection.
Yeah. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm training an AI to speak in her voice and trying different platforms and different methods of doing that. And so I'll report back another day on how that's going, because that's got a whole. If I can create a realistic, lifelike voice, then that opens up a whole new area for her.
Oh my gosh,
and
we
her
just
online
watched a
presence.
movie about that called G20. Well, oh my goodness. Wow. Here we are. Holy moly.
Holy moly, holy guacamole.
And anyone can use it.
I think the key thing here is
But as I tell my students,
rubbish in,
crap in, crap out.
Crap in,
That's
crap
what I
out.
use. Yeah. Wow.
It's a tool. You can use it well, or
Yeah.
you can use it poorly.
Yeah. And if you use it well, that means you know stuff, which is great, because you have to know. You have to know how to use it. You have to have the vocabulary. You have to have the understanding. You have to be able to do the prompting. It's not that you can just make up anything.
That's right.
So,
Well, I went and did a marketing course. I went to a marketing seminar, really, marketing and AI, but it was largely about marketing. But one of the key things he said is you can go to an AI and ask it to create some marketing strategies and campaigns and things for you. But he said, but if you don't know anything about marketing, you're probably not going to do very well with it,
yes.
because you're not going to know how to phrase those questions, how to give those instructions,
Because-
how to form that content.
Because you don't have don't have the specific vocabulary in the first place. So if you don't have the words for something and you only know the word marketing, then you're ignorant. You have to learn about the topic in order to be able to do something with it and include AI.
And I guess the thing is with this is not everybody is a good writer.
No.
Not everybody has good grammar and spelling
No.
and can form, chapters and things so that it's interesting to read and it flows.
Yeah.
Very few people can do that.
Yeah.
So this is a tool that can assist you in this area.
Yes.
Use it, enjoy it, learn it,
Yeah.
learn how to use it. You don't go and jump in a car and take off and drive at 100 miles an hour. You get some lessons, you learn how to drive.
What you do if your foot gets stuck on the accelerator.
Well, that's true.
You don't know where the brake is. And then you crash. Crash and burn.
Learn the tool, and it will serve you well. What else have you got?
Well, I've got something about a word that brings up some stuff. And
A
it's
word?
called, a word. Relationships.
Oh, my goodness. Relationships.
Relationships.
That's kind of a sticky topic.
I know, right? But we talked a bit about that the other day and we had a realisation. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
Go on, tell us what you said.
Well, it's kind of in the language, isn't it? And if you look at the way, there's a lot of information available, people teaching now that what you think is what you create.
Yep.
And often you don't have strong recollection or control of what you think. There's kind of this idea of autopilot and the chatter in the mind and all
there's
that.
so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
And it's fast.
Yeah.
And you hear people saying that, well, asking, are you in a relationship? I'm in a relationship. I'm out of a relationship. I fell in love. And it's like, what?
We grew apart.
What did you go into? What did you come out of?
Yeah.
And so I had this realization that relationship is like, let's describe it this way. You've heard of VR headsets, virtual reality headsets.
Yes.
Where you put them on and then you're in a different space, a different world.
Yes.
There's lots of games and fun with that. It's like relationship is this pair of virtual reality headsets that the two people put on to go into relationship, kind of like it's a third-party service that you subscribe to.
Yes, a subscription.
And the third-party service...
Initially, it's free.
Initially, it's free.
It's free to try.
It's free to try. That's
but
very
good.
Try
and find the fine print. Try and find that window where you can click to unsubscribe.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. That's another thing. Oh, my God. Don't get me started on that one.
And so you go into a relationship, you go into this third-party service, and
you sign up for free.
It provides the environment for this splendiferous, wonderful life and experience that you have with this other person, where everything's just wonderful and perfect, and endorphins going crazy and hormones going crazy, and every moment is just delightful and
Gotta
wonderful.
love those hormones.
Gotta love those hormones. And this goes on for about, 8 weeks, something?
8 weeks.
that kind of very elevated kind of experience.
Maybe 12 months.
And this is an environment, or I don't know what you'd call it. This kind of I guess I'm just going to stick with environment, a reality of relationship.
Yeah.
And then over time, things change, things happen, and you either work your way through it, or you come out of relationship, you break up.
You take the VR headset off.
The headset eventually comes off and you unsubscribe and unplug.
Yeah.
And so it seems to me that relationship is something you get yourself into and then have to figure out how to get yourself out of if it's not working.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I just as you're talking, I remember a beautiful story from our show, and he talks about this couple who do fall in love, but what happens is they live at either end of a lake, and he has his place and she has her place, and every now and then they come together, and then they row home to their own place, and he said that's the best way to have a loving relationship.
Loving relationship.
Yeah, you come together every now and then, but you don't forget who you are, and you do your own thing.
So we need 2 houses?
No, we just need a lake.
We need a lake.
We need a lagoon, and here we are.
Here we are at the lagoon. Do you know, actually, I've heard that so many times where people have not lived together well, but still love each other.
Yes.
And so the lady goes back to her apartment, the guy goes back to his flat or house, whatever it is, but they still see each other, they just don't live together.
Yeah.
And that seems to work for some people. And then you get other people who are in relationship for like 60 years or something.
Yeah, and it works.
And it works.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on which third-party service you subscribe to and
Yeah.
the plan that you choose.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you just need an upgrade.
Maybe when you go on the free version and you don't upgrade, you don't get all the additional features that you'd get if you upgraded
So every
your
now and
plan.
then you need to upgrade.
Yeah. So relationship is a subscription.
Yep.
Subscription model.
I like it.
I
It
like
is.
Yeah.
It's a subscription model to function in this reality.
You're paying one way or another, don't you?
What does that mean? Now I'm worried.
No content. No,
No content.
no comment.
No content available.
Oh dear, too funny.
Well, that's it.
So that's it?
That's it for today.
That's it for today?
We've covered many varied topics.
I think it's been fun.
It
Okay.
has.
So we'll get together next week.
Same time.
Same place?
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not. All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
That's today's buzz. Like it? Sting that like button. Subscribe for more weird.